Once in a generation,
The time has come.
a fight makes history.
It's champion versus champion.
Before anyone steps in the ring, Errol Spence Jr., Terence Crawford, the most anticipated fight of the decade is here.
Beat him up. Beat him up.
Undefeated, undisputed, unprecedented. Spence versus Crawford for the undisputed world title, Saturday, July 29th, live on pay-per-view.
Now I will never be your hater, I'm your biggest fan. I hope it falls into place just how you planned it. Life could put you in a pickle, just make sure it's kosher. Lean on me like Bill Withers until you smell the roses. What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. It's time to talk about one of the things I really love. Fights. Spence Crawford 50-50 fight on paper, in my opinion. I flip-flop. The closer the fight gets, I flip-flop every day, because I actually love watching both of these guys. I really like them. I used to have a podcast I used to call Terence Crawford Bud, stood for beating up dudes. And and Arrow, man, I'm just happy that he's starting to sound like the Arrow before the accident. So I'm really cool about that. I'm really loving that. So, I initially I picked Bud a while ago. When they first signed, I'm like, I think Bud will win. No, I take that back. When they first was in talks, and then Bud took the other fight, I was like, I think Bud gonna win. And that was part of the reason. I was like, I don't think, Spence looked straight against Ugas, but I don't think that ain't gonna beat Bud. And with a little time, with stepping back from it and coming back, with every week, I've watched both of these guys, both these men, transform into fight ready, best shape of their life, looking, like it's about to be a war. And for me, it's like, if Spence is gonna be Spence, we all know how that is. He can box. People forget he can really box, but he want to bulldoze you. So I expect him to come in there straight bulldozing like he does everybody else, right? Because of bulldozing, sometimes he's a slow starter. But the interesting thing is, Bud is a slow starter too. So I'm like, the advantage is really to whoever comes out smoking. And the irony of that is, if a person gets down 2 rounds, that other fighter could really press the issue and hurt the other person, because they both have done that. That's both part of who they are as a fighter. They take things personally in the ring, right? Like, okay, this is what it is. So for me, it's like, man, on paper, it's a 50-50 fight. It could be a back and forth war, but it could also be somebody just get dog walked and dominated. It just depends on what works, the tactics, the approach. If anybody gets hurt, a cut early, something like that, that's a whole different thing. I doubt it. Spence has the better body attack. You would say Spence has the better power. But you got to understand, I think Terence Crawford is better at short shots. So even when they get close in that range, short shots hurt, man. They hurt. Especially if you could throw them, they hurt. They hurt worse than than other shots at times, because you could put a lot on it. They both can hit each other with stuff that they don't see coming from different distances and angles, because they both, they're proficient in punishing people. We know Spence got that jab, and Terence Crawford can actually take away his jab, because he's got people would say he's got a better ring IQ, and I get it because he switched up his styles more and fought people multiple ways in a fight, and found multiple ways to get at people. And you think Spence is just we know what he is, we know what he's gonna do type of person. But just because of his style, that doesn't make him. He's not a dumb fighter whatsoever. He knows if you're gonna fall by attrition. He's looking for something. If y'all ever, I don't know if you like, he's one of those people that he's just looking for an inch, that inch that broke you, and then he like, oh, it's over from that. And that's the interesting thing about this particular fight. I'm not sure if either one of those guys are gonna give that inch. You know what I'm saying? Um, I don't like. I just saw the Inui Fulton, and that was just that was one sided. That was one sided stump. He stepping on, and which you can expect from Inui. Like everybody, Cool Boy is a dope dude, but Inui, we know what Inui is, and he just proved it again. But the reason I say that is because if a person gets a little momentum, it could swing that way. If Spence got momentum, it could swing to the way it was one-sided with Inui and Fulton. If Crawford gets a little momentum, it could swing to the point where, like I said, it'll be like Inui and Fulton. So for me, I'm like, man, one of my good coworkers, he's like, who you got? And I told him, I was like, man, this is a problem. And I tell him, I said, this is what I got, and this is what I got. And he's like, yeah, but Spence the bigger guy. He the bigger guy, and Bud can be put down. It's like, yeah. But at the same time, does Bud have the power to put Spence down, who hasn't been down? I don't think Spence has been down. But yeah, so it's interesting. Plus, I like the hot sauce thing. If y'all don't know what that is, when Spence told Crawford, you don't even like hot sauce, and Crawford was like, what? How you don't like hot sauce? And because camps, and it's been documented because of social media and these like 24/7. I think Floyd kind of blew that up more. People spy on people with camps, and sometimes it's not spying. Sometimes it's just fighters talking and word getting around. You get what I'm saying? Like, yo, this is what I did today. If a guy felt like he looked good against the champ, he gonna talk. And then the talk go, oh, okay, oh, that's what it's like that. Oh, you ain't ready, huh? That kind of thing. Some people get hurt, some people get knocked out, and that's things you don't want before your fight with your actual opponent, right? So it gets real. It gets real. And for hot sauce to be all it is, it's like, yeah, man. He probably closed some of the workouts off. It's like, man, you ain't gonna see nothing what I'm really doing. So now it's like I said, on paper, 50-50 fight. You could say, like, Bud's gonna fight 2 fights. He's gonna fight an orthodox fight. He's gonna fight a southpaw fight. So he's gonna fight Errol Spence in multiple ways in each stance whenever he chooses which one he's most comfortable with. But you can get caught like that. Like, I'm a natural southpaw, and I work on being orthodox. I just work on it. And every now and then, I get a lapse where it's like, I might be orthodox, but my mind is really southpaw. Or I might be southpaw, my mind is really orthodox. It happens for a second. If you get caught in that, you get caught in that. But you gotta your defense shift, your feet shift. I know I'm better. My feet are better in southpaw than they are in orthodox. But at the same time, with Spence is coming in southpaw. He ain't switching it up. That's what he is. But he knows he's gotta have to fight 2 fights. The fight with Crawford being a orthodox, and a fight with Crawford being a southpaw. He knows that too. So he's preparing for anything also. So, like, and I know people say, Spence has the better defense because he's fundamentally sound and all that. But I'm not too sure that's going to be a factor in this fight, because I think they're going to just get at it. So, because once you get into a dog fight, a lot of times people, the defense is kind of, it doesn't go out the window, but it ain't a priority. It ain't the top priority. So you're gonna get hit. So, man, this is gonna get real, and I love the way both of them in shape. Oh, this is gonna get real. It's gonna get real, man. And the other thing I say before I go, I like that both of them aren't conceding mentally. Like if you look at fighters like prior to their fights, some fighters are say they're gonna win the whole way, and then there are other fighters who make concessions and concede that they might not win, whether they say it covertly or overtly. Something they say, something they do, kind of like oh, there's a little doubt here, or there's so when you have a fighter who has doubt or you see doubt creeping up, they pretty much lost at that point, even before the fight. So you're seeing two guys who are supremely confident in their abilities, like, man, no, I'm winning. So you know both fighters are coming and just like, hey, I'm stepping on you. Period. I'm stepping on you. And they both know, they're gonna have to take it just as much as they give it. So I'm gonna be a fan to watch. My heart sometimes says Bud, my head sometimes says Spence. My head sometimes says Bud, my heart sometimes says Spence. That means it's just gonna a great fight with great fighters. Now if Spence was ever to come across this, he'd be like, man, you said in the beginning, man, that you went with Bud at first. Stop the cap. You gotta stay over there. Like, I understand, Playboy. But I think it's gonna be a great fight, man. I can't wait to see it. I love it. I gotta get my pizza, all ready right now. All right, man. Like, share, subscribe, and die trying. Talk to y'all after fight night on this one. Peace.
You ever been at the top of the universe? I'm gonna take you.